Good evening, my viewers. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So we are going to continue from where we ended yesterday on solving the quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. So our second example is solve the equation p to the power 2 minus p equal to 4. Solve the equation p to the power 2 minus p equal to 4, giving your answers correct to 2 decimal places. Giving your answers correct to 2 decimal places. So the formula that was given in the question paper is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b to the power 2 minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. So the formula that was given in the question paper is x equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b to the power 2 minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. Now when you look at the unknown variable that was given in the formula is x. So therefore we are not going to use the same unknown variable to solve our second example. We are not going to use x as our unknown variable because in the question the unknown variable is p. So therefore we are going to use the same letter which is in the question. So please don't use x because we want to find the values of p that will satisfy the given equation. Okay, so we are not going to use x when solving. So since p is the unknown variable in the question, then the formula is p is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b to the power 2 minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. P is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b to the power 2 minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. Okay, so since we have written the correct formula, the correct quadratic formula, therefore we need to go back to the question and check if the equation is in standard form. Remember, for the quadratic equation to be in standard form, all the 3 terms must be on one side of the equation. Then on the other side, we must have a 0. Okay? In order to write our equation in standard form, all the 3 terms must be on one side before you identify the values of a, b, and c. Make sure that the equation is in standard form. So our equation is not in standard form because b or 4 is on the other side of the equation. So therefore we are going to take 4, which is on the right hand side, and take it to the left hand side. So since it is positive, when it goes to the left hand side, it will become negative. Okay, so we are going to remain with a 0 on the right hand side. Therefore our equation is now in standard form. Okay, so next we are going to identify the numbers of a, b, and c. Remember, a is the number which is in front of the unknown variable which is raised to the power 2. So p is the one which is the first term is the one which is raised to the power 2. Therefore, the number which is in front of p to the power 2 is 1. So our a is 1. Then b is negative 1. And c is equal to negative 4. So please, as you identify the values of a, b, and c, don't forget their signs. Never forget the signs. Okay? Now, after we have identified the values of a, b, and c from the standard equation, therefore, we are going to substitute the same numbers in the given formula. Okay? Now, as you are substituting the numbers, make sure that you introduce the brackets. Put all the numbers in brackets. Whether it is positive or negative, make sure that you put it inside the brackets. Okay? So we have negative 1 for b. So where there's b, we are going to write negative 1. But the negative 1 must be inside the brackets always. Then plus or minus the square root. Where there's b to the power 2, we are going to write negative 1. And the negative 1 must be inside the brackets. Minus 4, our a is 1, so we're going to open the brackets. You write 1, you close. Again, you open the brackets. Where there's c, you write the number which is negative 4, then you close. Everything divided by 2, open the brackets. Where there's a, you write 1, then you close. Okay? Then the next part, the next step, we are going to now get rid of the brackets we have introduced. Okay? So by multiplying the negative which is outside the bracket with the negative which is inside the bracket, so it will give us a positive. So it will become positive 1. So we are going to say the negative times negative 1 will give you positive 1. Plus or minus the square root. Inside the square root, we have negative 1 which is inside the brackets raised to the power 2, which is negative 1 times negative 1 will give us 1, plus 16. Now, where is this 16 coming from? We have negative 4 inside the or under the square root. We have negative 4 times 1, which will give us negative 4. Then negative 4 times the negative 4 which is inside the brackets will give us a positive 16. And that's the reason why we have written positive 16. Okay? So from there, we are going to add the two numbers under the square root. We have 1 plus 16. So 1 plus 16 will give us 17. Okay, so now we have 1 plus or minus the square root of 17 over 2. Now, since between 1 and the square root of 17, we have two signs. Okay, so we are going to work out for each sign. We'll start with the plus sign. So we're going to say 1 plus the square root of 17, everything divided by 2. Don't forget to divide by 2. Then the second one, we're going to subtract the two numbers on top. So we're going to say p is equal to 1 minus the square root of 17. Okay? From there, First, find the square root of 17, which is 4.1231. Okay, the square root of 17 is 4.1231. Then, don't enter all the numbers 1 plus 4.1231 divided by 2 on the calculator at once. You can only do that if the 1 plus 4.1231 they are inside the brackets. Okay, because a calculator uses board mass. It follows the board mass. Okay, so we are going to add 1 plus 4.1231, which will give us 5.1231 divided by 2. Okay, so once you get the sum of the two numbers on top, that's when you divide it by the number which is up at the bottom, which is 2. So you divide it by 2, you get 2.56155. 2.56155. Okay, but remember the question says we should write our answers in 2 decimal places. So the 2 decimal places are the numbers after the decimal point. So we're going to write only 2. So it will be 2.56. Okay, so we are done with the first solution. We go to the second solution. Remember, we had 2 signs. So for minus sign, we are going to subtract 1 minus the square root of 17. Okay, so the square root of 17 is 4.1231. So 1 minus 4.1231 is negative 3.1231. Then you divide it by 2. So first you subtract, then you divide it by 2 alone. Okay, so when you divide it by 2, you're going to get negative 1.56155. But remember, the question says we should write our final answer in two decimal places. So negative 1.56155 is negative 1.56 to 2 decimal places. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Please invite your friend. Don't forget to share my videos. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day or night. Bye-bye.